you try your best but you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face, when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And high up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go, but if you never try you'll never know just what you were. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
And Nasty. Host Randy Chevy and Sheldon Napastia guide you through great stories that spark great conversations. Two really big guys talking a big game. The boys are locked in and ready to go. Welcome to the ride.
Yeah, welcome back to the ride, everybody. Oh, Trey's heart is broken tonight, but I know there's a lot of you guys out there absolutely celebrating on behalf of the Calgary Flames fans that I think make up the majority of our audience that absolutely love that game tonight. But guys, the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs are over. Florida Panthers beat Trey's and my Edmonton Oilers. And in case you're wondering, yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And I think we're going to get to that here in a little bit. Trey, but you're doing okay. You made it on the air. You're feeling all right. I don't see any Oilers gear on you. Is parked for the off season?
Yeah, that went on the hanger and put in the corner till next year. I'm crushed, Sheldon. I mean, last year hurt, but this one I think stings a little bit more.
Yeah, it definitely does. But you know what? It's onwards and upwards, right? It's on with the show. The show's got to continue. And as I was just mentioning, this is episode 80, and we are brought to you by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Business Group here in Calgary. But Trey, do you got a list of great number 80s for us that we can reminisce over here as we try to shake this feeling out of our souls?
I do have a lot of great number 80s. I'm so happy to be done with the 60s and the 70s and even the 50s. No offense to Chevy or you. I don't even know what number. Well, you're an offensive lineman or D lineman, so boring. We're finally getting into some exciting numbers, and I wanted to shout out the greatest Seahawk receiver of all time, because Chevy can't diss my boy Steve Largent. I had to throw him in there. I don't know if you were around to see Steve Largent. I obviously wasn't, but I'm told he's one of the greats.
He was from back in the early days. What years was he playing? Like he was there at the same time as Jerry Rice, was he not? Like early 80s anyway?
Yeah, he was earlier, I think. Yeah, around Jerry Rice's time, I think.
Yeah.
In the early 80s. Yep.
For me, my guy was always Jerry Rice. Like as a kid, there was nobody that could touch him, Joe Montana and that whole crew. That was like a lot of exciting years when I hardly even knew what football was, but I knew I had two teams. I had the Chicago Bears and I had the San Francisco 49ers. And Jerry Rice was absolutely a hero of mine growing up. But you know what I'm not seeing up there is Jermaine Copeland. Wasn't he number 80 for the Stamps? Or he wasn't 80. No, he was number 80 for the Stamps. Dude, the guy just I think he got inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. He was just all over TSN this weekend. Another great number 80. And for those of you guys that remember back probably early 2000s to 2008, around that time, he was known for one big tall receiver, could go up and catch anything, but he was like the most flamboyant, bombastic guy off the field and in interviews that you ever saw. So he just got inducted into the CFL Hall of Fame. So great honor to him. Another great number 80.
Yeah, and then I have nothing to add there. I have no idea who that is, but
You don't know
I also added no idea. But I also added Chris Carter. I don't know if he's like still on the paddle on Sunday mornings, but that's the only like Chris Carter I know really, other than seeing some highlights. But a great wide receiver, and even his son, Duron Carter, when he played for the Riders, he was one of my favorite players. I think he got into some trouble. I don't know if he's in the CFL anymore, but Chris Carter, he's great number 80.
There you go. Well, guys, continuing on, some of you guys might be wondering where's Chevy. It's the Chevy and Nasty show, but Randy actually had a work conference in Vegas, so he's down in Vegas right now. Hopefully, he's watching the show. But usually,
I don't know. I just saw a post of him and Brittany having some drinks. On the strip, so I highly doubt it.
Even better. That means we can talk about him all we want, and he won't even know about it.
Exactly.
Chevy's usually the creative genius behind the 300-pound poetry, but Trey stepped up, volunteered as a co-host this week, and he actually took the time to write the poem. Guys, let us know what you think. Does it suck? Is he been well tutelaged under Randy? We're gonna find out right now. Trey, play the music.
All righty, let's do it.
And now, 300-pound poetry with Chevy and Nasty.
Chevy's gone to Vegas, left us boys to run the show. If he hits one more buffet, they'll charge him rent at the Bellagio. That's good.
The Oilers came in hungry, but the Panthers slammed the gates. 2 straight years of heartbreak. Man, Alberta can't catch a break.
But Stamps handled the Argos. Week 2 was all red pride. VA tossed a few beauties, but now the East just wants to hide.
And world leaders hit the Rockies. G7 met in style. The K country's calm was shattered by backroom deals and greasy smiles.
The desert's burning heavy as Israel trades with Iran. Missiles fly, the world holds breath. No one's sure who's got the plan.
So it's Nasty and Trey tonight. I'm in Chevy seat. We're talking war, sports, and chaos, and still staying on beat. Look at that.
There you go. Look at that. Well done, Trey. You have learned a thing or two. I'll tell you what, that was for a first crack at a poem. That was respectable. I know you're texting all week. Do I go AABB or do I go ABAB or is it ABAC? I'm like, Chevy and I are like, dude, we don't know. We just write rhymes, you know?
Yeah, that's what I did. I just ended up writing rhymes.
Oh, well, you got that figured out. Now tell me this. Let's figure out the Edmonton Oilers. In comparison to last year to this year, what are you feeling right now?
I think last year, when we lost, like I was crushed, obviously, as first time like a sports team of mine had been to a final like that. And I was crushed. And like it took me a while, this season to kind of get back into the Oilers. Like, obviously, still watch the games and stuff, but I wasn't really like I just knew we'd be back in the playoffs, so I'd just be locked in, and I'd had a whole full year to recharge. And when we got back into the playoffs and going to take on LA, and a little bit of a struggle to start there, and then we crushed Vegas and Dallas. It's like, okay, this is destiny. Like we're going to the cup again. We're gonna get our revenge.
Found our
And
form.
oh, Sheldon, when I tell you they laid an egg, like that was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and I feel like I'm crushed, but I don't know. Like I feel empty almost. Like this is like when you try your best, you don't succeed. Exactly the song I played at the start. Like now what? Now you got to circle back to the drawing board for a third year. Like these guys have played 211 games of hockey in the last 2 years. That's a lot of hockey. That's 50, 60 games more than the average team. And like it just hurts so bad because you only have these opportunities every so often. And when you go 0-2 in the Stanley Cup Finals, like this sucks. It sucks, Sheldon.
And it's interesting because you bring up, well, now we got to regroup for next year. But there's no guarantee that next year is going to be anything like this year. I mean, if you look back on the regular season, we struggled. Like it was rough. I mean, there was times of showing of brilliance. Went through some injury problems. Couldn't string together any major win streaks. But it did feel like it was coming together in the playoffs. But here's the thing that worries me about what I just watched. And obviously, like everybody else, I'll acknowledge, and I'm a huge Connor McDavid fan. Obviously, the best player in hockey right at this moment. But over the last few games, I've been asking myself, is that really true? Right? Like when we talk about the greats, is it their skill level? Like when we're talking Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby, do we throw an Ovechkin into that mix as well? Because he's a great goal scorer? Well, I guess he got it. I guess he got to. You know why? Because he won a cup.
Mm-hmm.
He took that skill and he took the attitude that it took to get that skill, and he got his team, carried him on his back over the goal line to the point of the Stanley Cup victory. He's got the ring. He held the cup. My fear when I look at these Edmonton Oilers and I watch what Connor McDavid can do, and it's true, Trey, he can do what no other player in the world can do right now. You watch it in LA when he started working up that head of steam, and he skates in the other end, and all the rest of the team had to do is watch him dazzle the defense, make guys look like amateurs, future Hall of Famers that could not skate with him, and they just wait till he opens up the ice enough, makes a pass, and they score a goal. He leads in assists at this time of year. But there's something that the Florida Panthers are doing differently. Instead of waiting for McDavid to come, they came with an aggressive defensive, like starting with a forecheck in the other end, but even in their own end, they challenged him. They only had one job. They didn't worry about any other player on the ice other than if your assignment was McDavid, it was McDavid, and they rode him wide. They rode him outside. They wouldn't let him get that clear path to the net. And the rest of the rest of the Oilers are standing around saying, they can't do that, can they? There's nobody driving to the net with him. There's nobody looking for a rebound. I looked at that goal tonight. Did you see that goal by Sam Bennett, that simply just redirected off of his skates? The puck gets thrown in front of the net. He redirected off of his, Reinhart redirects it off of his skates and in. That's how you score in the playoffs. You get in front of the net and you make something happen.
And they did a good job of that with Perry. But when Corey Perry is then leading your team in goals in the playoffs, like that's a serious problem. And you're right. Like credit to Florida, Barkov and Reinhart finished first and second in Selke, and McDavid and Draisaitl, that was their assignment, and they did an incredible job of shutting them down. But it's like, okay, now you need your depth to step up. Like, excuse my French here, but where the fuck was the depth? Like, what are we doing? The guys are standing around. There's 18 passengers on the team. And like Bouchard and Ekholm get absolutely dipsy doodle danced in the first 5 minutes of the game after they dominated the start of the game. And it just sucks the life out of the team. And everybody's just standing around like, okay, Connor, you're going to do something. And like when they stifle him like that, they couldn't.
Yeah. And, and last year, I think we got a lot more of that. Like I remember Hyman and Fogle went on absolute tears at different parts during the playoffs, right? And that just takes the pressure off of your star players. But to me, at the end of the day, though, I think that to be considered a great player, again, and maybe this is unfair. I'm not a hockey player. I never played a competitive hockey game in my life, but I've watched a lot of sports and I've watched a lot of people. For me, I think if you're truly the greatest player on the ice right now, you should be able to take that team on your shoulders and figure it out. Maybe it's not the speed rush into the ice. Maybe it is going into the corners and coming out with the puck more often, right? It's not the fancy skate show.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe McDavid, and who am I to question him, but I'm going to, has to do a little bit of soul searching and saying, for when it comes to the Stanley Cup final, maybe there's another element that I have to find to bring to the game. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. That's the $1 million question, Sheldon.
Well, I don't know. Find a way, cut in a little bit sooner, and find a way to elevate that puck. Anyway, it was just disappointing to see, because right now, if we're going to talk about the greatest players on the planet, it is Matthew Tkachuk, is Sam Bennett, and the rest of that crew. I mean,
I don't know if I agree with you on that, Sheldon. I think they play their system perfectly. I think those guys are built for the forecheck that Paul Maurice wants them to play, and they do such a good job of it.
That they also score goals. They also create opportunities. It's the whole, and that's the third thing. It's the mindset. It's not waiting back and looking for a play to open up. They give you zero space and time, and they anticipate when the puck's going to pop free, and they go after it. And I just felt like, and that might be a depth thing for the Oilers.
Yeah.
Right. I just didn't see any of that.
Nope.
Anyway.
No, we didn't see any of it. And I think, like Jamin says here too, like Hyman being hurts a lot. Like that was a big piece of their depth.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not even consider him a piece of their depth. Like that's how good he is. He's a 50-goal scorer, and he was leading the league in hits in the playoffs by a large margin too. It wasn't even close. And like his presence was missed for sure. And I think Ekholm coming back, we're going to hear all about the injuries tomorrow. Like I'm sure Ekholm has probably got some torn hip of some sort. Nuge has probably got a messed up wrist or shoulder, and like all these guys are probably banged up like crazy too. But you can't always blame it on the injuries. Everybody's got injuries at this point of the year.
The best teams find a way, right? And that and that's what's disappointing to me is I felt like getting Draisaitl back to full health this year, that this really would be a different story.
Yeah.
And then again, the one thing that we haven't talked about, the other thing that we know, to win the Stanley Cups, you got to have a hot goalie.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida didn't need a hot goalie. They've just got a good goalie who's consistently amazing. You can't beat him down low.
I think like Bobrovsky is like a legit Hall of Famer now. Like 2 Vezinas, 2 cups. I mean, he starts 60 games every year. Solid 910 save percentage every year, and he has the it factor. Like he just knows when to make the big saves, and the Oilers just don't have that. So if I'm Stan Bowman, July 1st comes around, Sheldon, I'm phoning every single free agent goalie, and I'm giving them a blank check. And like I don't care who it is, but you just can't run that same duo back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, agreed. Oh. Well, with that, Trey, I think we do start moving on. I don't know if you heard, but this week in Calgary, or if you got caught in one of the traffic jams, the G7 summit came to Kananaskis, meaning all these planes, all these leaders are coming through Calgary. Did you get caught in any of those traffic snarls when they shut down, whether it was Stoney or Deerfoot, to lead the convoys of those nice black cars through the streets? Were you even aware that the G7 was going on?
Do you know where I am? I'm in the middle of nowhere, Sheldon. I have not been stopped by anybody. I haven't come across any sort of security measures. I've never been patted down. I'd have like my sister works downtown Calgary. I think they've been taking a little extra precautionary steps just to make sure, everybody's okay. But I have it affects my life. None.
So you haven't seen it at all. I've been lucky because I spend my whole day in my car driving for my different appointments, meeting with different realtors and whatever. I didn't get caught up in any of the traffic snarls, but every day I'm driving on Stoney on the way back home, like north of the airport, and you just see the coolest planes coming in and out. And then the other day I was droning up in Coventry, taking real estate videos and photos and all that stuff. I had to land it twice because just about 400 feet. Like I was allowed, I had a permit up to 100 feet, but they come flying at 500 feet. There's Chinook helicopters, and then this convoy of Ospreys. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Ospreys. Here it is right here. Those are those American Army planes, like not the Air Force, but Army, that they're vertical takeoff and landing. So they can tilt those propellers, down when they're trying to fly forward, tilt them up when they take off like a helicopter. They were literally running practice routes all last week. I had to land my drone twice, like I said. And then the night that Donald Trump came into town, one of my buddies was just posting on Facebook or Instagram as the Air Force One flew in. And about 15 minutes later, these guys fly straight over my house on the way out of Northwest Calgary on their way to Kananaskis. And I'll tell you what, Trey, if you're like an aviation buff or like to, see cool things in the air, this was kind of an exciting time to look up at the sky. So, we got some video of them flying over our house. It wasn't good enough. I'm not going to play for you guys here. But for me, the biggest thing about the G7 was just seeing all the cool aircraft flying over our heads throughout the day.
And I saw it the other day that some guy out of Springbank tried to go fly into the restricted area of Kananaskis. What an idiot!
Well, not only that, I think he was just in a little Cessna, and he goes flying over Kananaskis, which any pilot knows. It's on your NOTAMs every day where you can fly, where you can't fly. But I'm sorry if you didn't know the G7 was happening in Kananaskis, you're an idiot, right? He knew what he was doing.
You think he knew what he was doing?
But I know he did.
Yeah.
But I think he got the payoff he wanted, because the other cool thing that I think any pilot would ever want would be flying along in a Cessna and getting pulled over by F-18s. And there are two
crazy.
CF-18s not only intercepted him and started hand signaling him. When he didn't respond on the radio, they started launching flares at him, like those, the air defense flares to knock out missiles. This guy got he got the price of admission. I don't know if he's ever going to be allowed to fly again.
Lose your pilot's
that'd be quite the treat, though, to get intercepted by F-18 for sure. Hey, folks, I'll tell you what, though, with that, we're going to go to break right now. And just a reminder, if you guys are watching the Chevy Nasty Show without Chevy tonight, but just to remind us where you can find us live. You can find us YouTube and Facebook Live. Tomorrow you can find us anywhere that you find your podcast. But as you're watching this, guys, we really appreciate it if you do like and share us, hit that little heart button in there, anything that helps the algorithm and get this message out to more people. But we're going to take a little break right now, and when we come back, big week 2 in the CFL, some surprises, some not so surprises, but a whole lot of things going on. We're going to talk about all that and more right after the break.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
And welcome back to the ride, everybody. It's the Chevy Nasty Show. Chevy's in Vegas again. It seems like he gets a lot more vacation time than anybody else on the show gets, doesn't it?
Does
He's either in
it?
California or Montreal.
Traveling all around doing crazy shit, isn't he?
Yeah, but he did set up Daryl this week, and those of you guys that have been following us for a while, you know about our men's mental health movement and the men's mental health movie night we just had in Cochrane at the movie hall. There's another thing going on, and I'm sure Chevy played a part in it. They had the 3rd annual Calgary Fire Department Pensioners Association golf tournament going on today. Now, you didn't get a chance to get down there to join Daryl, did you?
No, I did not.
That was one. I don't go to many golf tournaments anymore. I try to get in maybe one a year. Sometimes one every 2 or 3 years these days. I tried to get down there today, but I wasn't able to. But Daryl sent us a little clip. Do you have that clip? Are we able to play that one here?
We are.
Yeah, let's check in on Daryl and see how the day went.
That's the Maniac's copter.
I think it's a maniac. Hey, are you the mental health maniac?
Yes, sir. Daryl, I heard a lot about you. You're such a big mental health advocate that I flew in just to see you and say you're doing such a good job spreading the word about mental health.
That's great. Well, I'm glad that you came to the Firefighters Pensioner Golf Tournament. What else are you going to do today for us?
Well, I'm going to be allowing people to touch the belt that's been going around the world and spreading the word of mental health awareness. And also, I'm going to be back here in Calgary on Saturday, August 9th for an event called Train the Trainer, where we're getting trainers in from all across the province to put their bodies on the line to raise $25,000 for mental health awareness. And that's Saturday, August 9th at the Realm Fitness. And I know you're going to be there.
Absolutely. Can't wait. This is going to be a great event.
Thanks for everything you do.
Love you, the maniac.
Mental health matters.
Love you, the maniac. So August 9th, Train the Trainers. I guess in this event, you can set up teams, but you can absolutely whoop the crap out of your trainers. And Kevin Smith, that is. I don't know, has that belt actually been all around the world, or is this like? I think there might have been some embellishment there with the helicopters and all that.
Awesome.
But, yeah, I might have to check that out this year. That's a strong dude. I've been seeing more of his training clips and stuff online. And this guy definitely has a heart for men's mental health. He has this group that community that he gets guys together on the weekends to go for shaves in Banff and things like that. Like, have you ever had like a razor shave before, like with an actual?
No, but I'm ready to shave this playoff beard, Sheldon.
That's a playoff beard, dude. That is awesome. That's the nice thing about doing a show. How old are you now, Trey?
21.
21. There you go. When I was, I probably had that beard when I was in grade 8, but that's just me.
I didn't shave for like 6 weeks, and this is about as good as it got, and you can like hardly see it. So, but I am ready to take a razor blade to it. So maybe I should get a nice hot razor blade. I've never had one of those before.
Yeah, I'm 50 and I've never had one of those. So I'm not saying that's what's going to be happening at Train the Trainer, but Kevin's always like doing this awesome stuff, and I think this year I'm going to actually make sure I book it off my calendar and get involved, because it's pretty cool. CFL this weekend, Trey.
Yeah, let's do it. Want me to go to the Chevy video?
Well, I don't know. You're the producer. You tell us what to do. Chevy did give us some thoughts on the weekend. Chevy wanted to be a part of this, even though he wasn't here, and I think he did send in a video, which I haven't seen yet. But a little bit of thoughts on week 2, and so let's hear Chevy break it down for us.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, guys, here's my CFL take this week. I'm not going to spend too much time breaking down the game. I'll let you guys do that. But one, I was very surprised about Winnipeg. I didn't think they'd pull it off without Zach Collaros. But, Chris Streveler, give him some credit. We think of him just as a running quarterback, but here he goes. He goes out and proves that he can win some football games. And I guess that's why they hung on to him. I am actually surprised about the Argonauts' victory over the Stamps. I figured that the Stamps would be still finding their legs. Quite impressed with their performance, but I just thought that, Arbuckle, when you have a game where you have something to prove, remember, the Arbuckle, the Stamps is the game or the team where Arbuckle started. And I feel like he could have gone there and shown what he was doing. But obviously the Stamps came out on top. VA was great, but some big losses in that game. They're still trying to hold out hope that Reggie Bagleton will be okay, but I'm not sure what his status is as of this writing. And then kudos to the Alouettes. They're showing that the move they made to get rid of Cody Fajardo and move on has paid off, and they're 2-0. Pretty interesting fact, all the teams in Ontario are 0-6, so that includes the Argonauts, the Red Blacks, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, which again, I thought they'd pull it off against Saskatchewan. So let you guys break down the games, but the big thing I want to talk about is the Chevy and Nasty Pick and Pool. First of all, for the week, our leader was none other than AC, Anthony Cobbs, good friend of the show, American, doesn't even watch CFL, joined last week after some prodding and pushing. He starts with a perfect 4-0, and I thought that was great. The leaderboard still up on top is Sexy Cowboy, and Roger Rhinson still up there with I think someone else is up there. I can't remember. I don't have the stats offhand, but again, Sexy Cowboy, I don't know who this person is, but they're on top. I believe they're just one shy of a perfect record. I believe they have 7 wins and 1 loss. And then at the bottom of our leaderboard, Bruno, get your picks in. I know you're a week late to the pool in general, but unless you picked all losers, we gotta get your game up. And then my sons, who I remind every day to put their picks in, I believe 2 of them did not put their picks in, and my son still has the same username as me. I believe Sheldon and I shared the same record. I'm going to tell you, I picked, unfortunately, I picked against Calgary last week. I just thought Toronto would have pulled that one off, and I picked wrong with the Winnipeg. I didn't have much faith in Chris Streveler. But I'm looking forward to week 3. Remember, guys, get your picks in. Invite a friend. There's still time. There's still time to get it on the pool. And appreciate that. I look forward to your guys' breakdown of the game.
All right. First thing, Chevy. No, we are not tied. I have a game up on you right now because I was not surprised at all that the Calgary Stampeders beat Arbuckle and the Toronto Argonauts, because there's a reason that Arbuckle does not play for the Calgary Stampeders anymore. We've moved on. We've got a better quarterback. And I loved Arbuckle did amazing things in the Grey Cup. Don't get me wrong. The story of the year in the CFL was Arbuckle winning the Grey Cup, for sure. But when I take a look at what Calgary's doing right now, the only thing that surprised me about their loss, Trey, or their victory, Trey, over Toronto, was that we didn't have the ground game this week. Dedrick Mills had under 30 yards. It was actually Vernon Adams.
Yeah, I was just
that
say,
it was Vernon Adams that kind of led the charge on with like 56 yards rushing. So he's using his legs, which is great. But our passing game looks solid.
Yeah, looks great.
I wouldn't say great, because I think we are often getting like we're outpassed. He's not performing at the level of some of the greats right now. But for week 2 in a new offense, losing Reggie Bagleton in the first half of that game, I don't know. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Calgary Stampeders. Dave Dickinson said we would see a new team this year, and between the new quarterback and the new defensive coordinator, I think we're seeing a new team.
They look great. They look a lot better than last year. I thought Philpott played really good to step up. I know we may have had some questions about the defense going into the year, but I thought the defense played really good as well. I can't remember his name, but he had the pick 6 too, I believe, right?
Adrian Green, Canadian quarterback, starting Canadian cornerback, had 2 interceptions and 1 was a pick 6.
Yeah,
which is awesome. And I'll tell you what, like, there's one thing, if you're following the CFL and the ratio, anytime that you can find a Canadian player to take a traditionally American position, a featured position like a skilled position like cornerback or wide receiver and excel, you're in good shape. And like, I love that you brought up Philpott, because that's the same thing. He was a star at UFC. His brother obviously is a star for Montreal right now. He's just never been able to stay healthy. But so far, yeah, he's featuring big in the offense, and I think that's going to be good for the Stamps if they can find a way to keep him healthy and keep him as an underneath threat. And hell, they went deep to him a couple of times too. So but what about Winnipeg? So that's because I'm going to admit right now too, I got that pick wrong.
Yeah, me too.
There's no way Streveler was going to beat the BC Lions. What's your takeaway on that one? What happened?
Stratford played good and Rourke played terrible. I mean, that's what it really came down to. I thought, I was just genuinely surprised. I know Strebler's kind of known. They kept him around for his running abilities and like the third and short situations. I wasn't really expecting him. He had 300 yards passing or 301 yards passing, and
Yeah.
and Rourke was just horrible. Like we're talking worse than Trey Ford.
After
Yeah.
looking amazing against the
Yeah.
Elk last week. See, and,
Yeah.
and that's what really got me, Trey, because all week long, Jamin and I are friends off the show. We're always, and he's a big Winnipeg guy. We're always debating power rankings and who's doing what. And he's like, I'm not gonna pick him, but I'm telling you right now that the Bombers are gonna beat the Lions. And I said, there's no way you can't bring in this Strebler. First game of the season, they had a week off after camp. You're not getting better in training camp. You need to get some game experience under your belt. And the Lions, that defense looked awesome. And Nathan Rourke, and he, what he said to me? He says, for the last 3 or 4 matchups, the Bombers have been Lion killers. It was the Lions that took out Vernon Adams in the middle of the last season, right when Nathan Rourke got there. They destroyed him, threw for 0 touchdowns. And then they put in Nathan Rourke the next week, and that defense tore him apart even worse. So there's something going on in Winnipeg right now where they've just got the pulse of the BC Lions. Throw away any other game or any other matchup they're going to have, because I don't think that the Bombers are going to be world beaters this year. They're going to be good. But to be able to go into Winnipeg, Nathan Rourke with a full training camp under his belt, with another game under his belt, and a victory, and do what they did to him, dude, I don't even know what to say. And we don't even know what the Bombers are, because it's Strebler. Strebler's not going to be starting next week.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure the Bombers play the Lions again next week, right?
They do. They do.
We're gonna get a rematch right away, which is awesome because we get to see Claros in. But if the Lions go and get blown out again, are the Lions in trouble? What the hell? What the hell's going on there?
So based off of what you've seen so far, and I know we're only going into week 3, right? And there has been a couple of surprises. Things are playing out a little bit like we expected, although I don't think anybody expected Ontario to go 0-6.
Yeah, that's wild too.
Who are your if we did a power ranking, who are your top 4?
Oh, I actually made a graphic because you asked me this yesterday for show prep. So I spent a little time, and this is my week 2 power rankings at the moment. So I'm going Montreal first. I think Montreal has played incredible. I think getting rid of Fajardo was a gutsy call, and I think Alexander's played really good. I didn't watch too much of their week 1 win, but I did actually get to tune into their win last week against the Red Blacks. And I mean, I know the Red Blacks, they didn't have Brown in, so they got shredded apart. But they're my number 1. I think they're going to win the East if I had to guess, and I expect them to keep up their good play. I'm going to put the Riders at 2. I know they only played Hamilton last week, but I thought they persevered through some of their injuries in the first week and had a nice win. I'm going to put Winnipeg at 3. I think Claros coming back might change things. I think they could even beat the Lions even worse. So I'm interested to see the rematch again. I'm going to put the Stamps at 4. I kind of went back and forth if I should put the Stamps 3 or 4, but I ended up just putting them at 4 because I think if they were to play each other tomorrow, I would take the Blue Bombers. But the Stamps, sneaky. I know you guys you love them and you hate them, but I'm high on the Stamps this year. I think they're going to be better than people expect. And then obviously the Ontario teams and BC, I'm putting them in the bottom 4. They haven't really done anything for me at all. I know the Lions won their week 1 matchup, but they looked horrible last week. Yeah. And I put a question mark beside the Elks because I'm just not sure where to slide them yet. They've only had the one game.
You know where they should be, but you're not willing to put them there because there might be a chance, right? Hey. Maybe Trey Ford is going to come through. But I'll tell you what, because that's funny to me. I agree with where you're coming from on this, but my problem is BC Lions. I think I'm going to treat that loss as an anomaly.
You think?
They can't be top 3, right? They can't be top 3. And quite frankly, they can't be ahead of the Stamps because the Stamps are 2-0. right? So I would have him at number 5. But if you take a look at it, as bad as Nathan Rourke looked against the Bombers, I don't believe he's a bad quarterback, right? And I believe he's going to get a lot more chances. They're not going to be looking to the number 2 or the number 3. But now let's talk about your boy, Trey Ford. He looked pretty bad, and that offense looked pretty bad against the BC Lions in week 1. What, is this a guy that needs to win right now, or is it a new franchise, new head coach? They're going to give him some time to feel things out with the offensive coordinator. Does he, as bad as both him and Rourke looked, are they on the same playing field right now? Because what do you think is going to happen with Trey Ford?
Yeah, you know what, Sheldon? I'm glad you asked me that, because Randy would have already had Ford cut by now. Like, only one game and he's gone in Randy's
because you couldn't trade him because he's garbage.
Because he's just terrible. But I am going to say that Trey Ford has a smaller leash just because Fajardo's there, and that's the only reason why. Like, Rourke's got, I don't even know who the backup is in BC, and I'm sorry to the backup, I don't know who you are, but I know that Fajardo's lurking. I know he's won a Grey Cup. I know he's a very good quarterback. So if Ford goes out and throws a stinker this week, like, it might already be, that's it. That's what Trey Ford. You get 2 games, you sucked them both. Like, see you later. Which sucks, because I think Ford is someone that needs some time to develop. I mean, he's so young and he's Canadian, and I think it's such a good thing for the Elks and the game. But yeah, he's definitely walking on the thinnest ice instead of Rourke, because I mean, Rourke, he's won the MVP before. They've got, I don't even know who their backup is. He's got no competition. They brought him in again for a reason. He's their guy. And they got
Mazzoli backing him up, but
who cares? Like, he's not, Mazzoli's terrible. I'm sorry. Rourke is going to be the guy the whole year. It doesn't matter if they go 0 on 18 or however many games you guys play.
Yeah. For me as a CFL fan, I think that the amazing story of the year that I'd love to see is the resurgence of the Elks. I would love to see Trey Ford take that offense, make it his own, and run with it. What I saw in week 1, it didn't look promising.
No, didn't.
It even got me thinking during the game. I was thinking to myself, if I were running that team, I would almost, because he's such a phenomenal athlete. I mean, nobody can run with him. I mean, the things he can do with his legs are amazing. And he's shown the ability to deliver the ball, but he's in a drop back. As a drop back passer, he doesn't see the field. It doesn't seem that he sees the field the way he needs to be a true quarterback. And I'm not willing to write him off yet, because maybe that is an experience thing.
Yeah, you know who they said that about? Lamar Jackson. And look what happened.
But he doesn't play for the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah, well, it's the same.
He's never done anything this year.
These mobile quarterbacks, he can't pass, and then he has 3 MVPs in the NFL now. Like, you got to give these guys some time. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the Elks might not like it, and the fans might like it, because they've been through a lot of suffering the last 5 or 6 years. But you just got to ride it out, in my opinion. And it sucks because Fajardo's there, and I'm sure by week 4, Trey Ford will be on the Red Blacks. He'll be cut and traded, or I don't know. But that's just my opinion. I think they should ride him out a little longer, regardless if he looks incredible this week or if he stinks it up.
We just saw it with the Lions. I mean, you never know. He might have the performance of a lifetime. So yeah. Well, anyway, that's our picks. And a reminder, like Chevy said, guys, get your picks in this week. It creeps up on you. The next game is on Thursday night, and we want to make sure everybody gets a fair chance. And they're looking at the record right now. Chevy's got 5 points. Trey's got 5 points. There, and there's where am I?
You might be on the second page. I got a second page here.
Yeah, sexy cowboy. There's a bunch of guys with 7.
Chevy's at 12, I think, actually, or 4. I think you have 6. You're in 7th place right now.
Yeah.
You're tied with Daryl.
I'll call that tied for second, Trey, because first place has 7.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah,
you're right.
There you go.
There.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break again. When we come back, Trey, did you have anything that we're supposed to say or put out there before we go to break, or can we go to break now?
No, let's go to break and let's wrap this puppy up.
You got it, kid. Grab a drink, grab a snack. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes right here on The Ride.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
Welcome back, everybody, to segment 3 of the ride. You know what? I'm reminded, Trey. I remember game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final Series. Oilers won in overtime, and Ernie Regas in Regina comes writing on and says, "Nope, sorry, boys, they don't match up. They're done." He was calling that after a win in game 1.
You know what I think the turning point was, Sheldon, and maybe your boy Ernie is a time machine traveler, but I think in game 2, do you remember when we obviously they tied it up late? Do you remember when Kapanen just about scored and it goes off the post in double overtime, and then they go down and Florida scores just a little bit later on? That was a true momentum turner. And just to wrap up the Oilers talk here, I think Marchand scoring in game 2 to win in double overtime, that was a true momentum killer for the Oilers. They never looked the same after that. And you even said this to me yesterday after they won game 4. It wasn't I didn't feel that much.
It didn't feel good.
A little bit of joy, but it didn't feel good.
It
felt like a greasy, ugly win that they didn't deserve, and they were outplayed the entire time. And from games 3 to game 6, they had the fluky win in there, but they were not the same team after that. And I think if they win game 2 and that puck goes in and not off the post, we're talking Oilers winning right now, and we're celebrating and not in our sadness and despair right now.
I agree. I would change that because to be honest, the last 3 games, I think the last 3 games, for sure, the last 2 games, they look great coming out of the gates. Right? They moved the puck well. They had chances. They just couldn't solve Bobrovsky. But the second that Florida started coming back on them, once the first goal was in, they literally didn't show. And it's weird because they've kind of been a resilient team the whole year. They dug themselves in a lot of holes and got out every single time, it felt like, and then they got to the Florida series and they had no compete. There was no chance after that first goal. Different digging yourself out against Bobrovsky and crew.
Yeah.
But with that, Trey, why don't we do our studs and duds for the week?
Alrighty, let's do it.
Studs and duds.
And I'm thinking we start with duds this week.
I agree. Should I start?
Yeah, why don't you start? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Why don't you start off?
This is my first time doing this, by the way. I've never had a stud or a dud, so I'm looking forward to this. But
don't be nervous.
Really quickly, there's some shit going on in the world, and I feel like we should briefly touch on it. So I don't really know the full story. I just kind of saw it in the last day or two. But Iran sent a couple missiles into Israel, and then their state media, more than a couple, but their state media said that there is a surprise tonight that the world will remember for centuries. No, obviously, I'm sure they're just blowing smoke up each other's ass, because the second they launch anything, whether it's across the Atlantic, I guess, the United States will make sure Iran is no longer a country. But I don't know what the hell is going on here, Sheldon. I think both these countries are idiots, and we should just put our missiles away, because that would suck.
Well, I'll tell you. You know what? That's for a first time studs and duds. You took on a big issue, and I know you said that you've been following it the last couple of days. I've got a few more years on me, and believe it or not, the problems between Israel and Iran go way back further past this weekend. In fact, it was Iran that subsidized Hezbollah and Hamas and all those attacks early in the year. Those two do not get along at all. The problem is, Trey, and for those of you that don't follow the news that closely, is that allegedly Iran is within days or weeks of refining uranium to the point they can turn it into a warhead, and figuring within weeks to months of launching a warhead at Israel. And Iran has always says, as soon as we have a nuclear weapon, we will wipe Israel off the face of the earth. Death to America. And I mean, I don't know where these guys are coming from. It's one thing to bluster like North Korea, but then to actually go out there and be as brazen as they are about what they would do with their nuclear weapons and nuclear power, it put Israel in a tough bind. And right now, a lot of innocent people are paying for it. But I do believe that when somebody tells you, I'm developing a nuclear bomb and I'm going to bomb you off the face of the earth, you better take them seriously. So no simple solutions. I'm sure there's some things Israel certainly could have done differently, but it's going to be an interesting summer for sure.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Trump leave the G7 to go like deal with this? Like he went back to DC or something?
Yeah, what he did, he did leave early, and on his flight back to DC, he tweeted out something like, "Hey Tehran, evacuate now." And so he put the whole Middle East into a tizzy last night, trying to figure out, well, are the Americans getting involved? Is it Israel doing something? That's the thing with Trump. He's going to say things just to keep everybody on their toes and just remind them that he carries the big stick. And right now, quite frankly, the states are split. Trump says it was ran on no wars under me. But at the same time, you got to carry the big stick if you're going to threaten. So we're going to see what he does. He's in a bit of a pickle right now. We'll find out what he does. My dud this week, Trey. Who knew it? Organized crime in Ontario. Okay, that's nothing new. In fact, through Central, you've got the mafia in Hamilton, Montreal. But right now, the big thing going on in Southern Ontario, in Peel, there's actually an organized crime ring ran by tow truck drivers, or a tow truck conglomerate, or the tow truck mafia. 18 people were arrested this weekend for some pretty serious charges. The lighter ones were just accident fraud, staging accidents, getting fraudulent claims from running their tow trucks out to the scenes. But they were also causing accidents, and they were extorting local businesses. Now, this is a big South Asian population out there, and a lot of them are new Canadians and may not feel comfortable going to the police. But like I said, the tow truck mafia were extorting businesses and private people to the point of even acts of violence, such as drive-by shootings, arson, and personal physical violence against people. So next thing, I'll tell you what, I always looked at the tow truck driver as a guy to get me out of trouble when I'm stuck on the highway. But I'm going to look at it a whole new way from now. Who would have thought you'd figure out a way to turn that into a life of crime?
I actually just saw a post about this right before we went on air of all the mug shots of the people that were arrested, and they all had similarities for sure. So this is
all previous criminal records. Something like 14 of the 18 had previous were already out on early release for other charges. And even on these charges, only one of the guys are still in jail today. The rest are all out on bail, and that guy's probably out by now as well. So Canada justice system, we're going to have to figure this out, because there are certain priorities for sure. But the biggest one is we don't take crime seriously enough in this country, and it's affecting both the private and the business community in Peel, Ontario, which is, dude, it's wrong.
That's tragic, isn't it?
So did Chevy send in a dud? Do we have a...
yes, we do have a dud. We don't have a stud from Chevy. He forgot to send it in. I forgot to text him about it. But we do have his dud. So let's take a look at his dud for the week.
All right, and now my dud of the week. Guys, listen, I love doing our Chevy and Nasty CFL pick and pull. It's fun. It's a great way to keep connected. I send out a commissioner's letter every week. I'm really into this. We're going to look for a great prize. But my dud of the week is the CFL Game Zone app. It's a super confusing website. The person that put me onto the website put me on for their fantasy team, but within the same portal, you can pick the different games that they have, from the fantasy to the pick'em to some all-star selection thing. And of the 40, I don't know, maybe 50 people that I sent an invite to, I think we have 15 that made it. And of the 15 that made it, about 8 of them I had to walk through step by step because it's so damn confusing. It's confusing if you're using on your mobile device, it's confusing on your computer, and then to make the picks and to find the league, it's super confusing. So as much as I'm happy we have the ability to do a CFL pick and pool, the fact that this app and this technology is so not user friendly, it sucks for our pool because we could have had more members, and at some point guys were like, listen, it's so difficult, I'm not doing it. And things these days need to be click, point, shoot, and go. And that is not the case with this app. And it, not only did it hurt our pool, but I think it hurts the CFL. You know, the CFL, as they're developing, trying to engage more fans, more youth. When something doesn't work easily and the way it should, then it's wrong. So my dud of the week is the CFL Game Zone app. I hope they get some feedback like mine. I've submitted feedback, and hopefully that going forward they can find an app that's super easy to join, and it should just be one click and you're in. So that's it, guys. Looking forward to next week on the show. Thanks for having me as a pre-recorded voice. And lots to talk about when I get back. In the meantime, I'll just make sure that I enjoy the sun. I enjoy the libations in the evening, and I enjoy learning more about the fire service. Take care, boys.
So, 2 things on that one, Trey. He's not wrong. That site does suck. If you take a look at some of the other pick and pools and sites that are out there, you get a lot more information than you get with this one. Like looking back on week 1, I picked a team whose starting quarterback was injured and wasn't even playing. Like, you think they should have basic information out there so that you can go take a look at your picks and be able to make an informed decision, see where the players are at. It is sort of a bush league app, but it's still fun because, you're playing with your friends. But in 2025, you do expect more from an app than that, do you not? And your microphone's muted right now. You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, I had a little connection issue there. But yes, that app or website is absolutely garbage. I scrolled through the leaderboard to see it on my phone yesterday to see where I was, and I had to peel my phone screen because it doesn't let you scroll all the way down because I suck, so I'm at the bottom. But horrible. And then getting your picks in, atrocious. You can tell the difference between a CFL website and a good one like the NFL one does.
You click your teams,
ESPN.
and then it says saved, but it doesn't say entered. I feel like there's a step that was missing. And when I get into the app, I want it to take me straight to my league, or I want to see my profile with the 3 leagues or whatever that I'm in, right? But I'm glad it's there. I'm having fun. I'm mostly winning, so I'm happy. But yeah, I agree. That's a bit of a dud.
It's a tough
Trey,
one. Okay,
you're done.
Yeah. Let's move on to my stud for the week because I'm very excited to share this one. So this weekend at the golf, because I'm a big golf fan, was the US Open. So they played it at Oakmont in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's one of the hardest courses in the world. The rough is 5 inches long, bunkers everywhere, some of the hardest greens to read. And so Sunday, back nine of the major is the most thrilling part of my month usually. The Masters was obviously awesome with Rory winning, and so the US Open, back nine of the major, it's pouring rain. There's 7 guys tied for the lead. And then one guy breaks out. He birdied the last hole to take a 1-shot lead. And so our boy JJ Spawn is my stud of the week. He's on the 18th hole. I have a video of this, so I will just share that for you guys. And I want your thoughts on this because Sheldon, when I say this is one of the most incredible things you'll ever see in golf, I mean it.
Let's
Let's
see.
go to that.
Need to make it. 2 putts.
That's a long putt, Trey.
How about 1?
Wow. That's like tin cup good.
Oh.
You need 2 putts.
Look at this.
You get a nice teach by
wow.
Hovland,
Oh,
and you watch it disappear.
the walk off. Dude. So my understanding is he had a great tournament. Like he was leading through the first 3 days, was he not?
Yeah, he was leading after the first day, and then he kind of fell off after the second and third day. And then the start of the last round, he was 4 over through 5 holes or 5 over through 6 holes.
Yeah,
Like
just
just
disastrous.
horrible, just a complete disaster. He hit the flagstick on like the first or second hole, and it went all the way back down like 60 yards away from the green. Like he should have been a foot away from the hole. But yeah, and then there was a weather delay about halfway through the round, and he went back out and he talked to his coach, and he hit a couple balls and said he found something on the range, and then yeah, just drained a 67-footer. It was the longest putt made by anybody all week on Father's Day with his kids there. I think you wanted to share something there about that as well. Yeah,
I
just,
did.
just incredible.
So I didn't watch this. I'm not a golf guy like you are,
Yeah.
right? But I totally respect what you do, and I try to follow the storylines. My understanding was that he was doing really well. I think he was the leader going into the final day. But at 2:30 in the morning, his wife wakes him up. Their daughter's puking everywhere. They have a young daughter at home. She's got the flu. She's sick. He runs to the store to get gravel or whatever they needed because they don't travel with it. So they had to run to a late night pharmacy to get it. The guy didn't sleep. He got maybe 4 hours of sleep that night because the daughter's sickness doesn't care if you're going into the final day of the Open. I would like to think that maybe his wife would have taken a little bit more of the burden. Us guys do. But the fact of the matter is, it is Father's Day. He's going into the final round of the US Open, and he's off running to all-night pharmacies to get his daughter's little tummy settled down. He shows up, he bombs, he doesn't complain, he resets, and he comes back like a true father. Yeah. And he for his little girl. Like I just there's something about that Father's Day story that I just absolutely love, Trey.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I also heard that so his caddy, I believe his caddy's dad passed away very recently. And so when they were reading the putt on the last screen, he was like saying to JJ, like, I think his dad's name, I don't know. I think it was Ernie or Arnold or something. And he's like Arnold's going to give us a good read on this one. Like, just trust it. Like, this is the line, just hit it.
Yeah.
And he freaking canned it. So cool. One of my favorite moments. I'm a big JJ Spawn fan now. I think it was just awesome. And when he made the putt, I was at work and I jumped up and celebrated with everybody in the clubhouse. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool moment.
Wow. So now Daryl's just writing and said, wow, what a dad. He needs to be sponsored by Gravel. Daryl, my stud of the week, I picked this one for you, buddy. And for any of your rodeo friends or anybody that's a dad out there, I came across this a couple of days ago, and I'm telling you guys, I broke down when I watched it. What a father will do for their son or their child, whether it's the final round of the Open, or whether it's an injured rodeo rider. Trey, run this tape. This is unbelievable. Daryl, I want to hear your thoughts. I don't want to set it up anymore, Trey. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I don't want to set it up more because I'm going to wreck it. But this thing is unbelievable.
Well,
honestly, we can't get it.
Oh, it did not show?
No, it didn't play. It was just a still screen.
Oh, I thought I played it. I just watched the video myself then.
Oh, yeah, you from your producer screen.
Okay. 1 second then. I thought I just watched it. Can you see it now?
Hit play?
Can you see it?
It's yeah, we see it, but it's not playing.
Okay, well, playing right now then.
I'm a hero, and That's why I fear it won't.
He just got bucked off the bowl.
And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
Yeah, let's see the whole thing. Oh, that's all right. Daryl, I don't know if you've ever seen that one before. I wish we could blow that up bigger, and I wish that they had better resolution video. But a young bull rider was thrown from the bull, and obviously in rough condition. You saw his arms slowly going off limp. He was knocked out, and the bull was still spinning around. The clown was out there trying to distract it, but the dad immediately jumps from the side there to help out any way he can. And as the bull started approaching, he knew the only thing he could do to protect his son was to cover his son and take the horns. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. This dad was willing to take the horns. Trey, play that one more time here. I want to make sure everybody can see that, because that was just if it's not too hard to do. I want to see it start to finish without the.
Oh, as long as you guys can see it, because I just watched the video by myself and I thought you guys.
No, we saw it last time. I just want to watch it one more time.
Okay. Can we see it?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay.
That's why I fear it won't.
There he is, knocked out.
And they say that a hero can save us. I'm not gonna stand here and wait.
All right, I'll tell you what. Every dad out there gets it. Happy Father's Day to y'all. Most of us will never have to be in quite that bad situations, but I pretty much guarantee you, every father out there, and Trey, this is going to be true for you. At some point in your life, you're going to have to do something you never thought you were ever going to have to do. But God bless the good men out there that take the role of father serious. And that film, that clip just chokes me up.
Yeah, shout out Diana Dash Dad saying he would take one for the team and do the same.
I'm sure he would.
So
I'm sure he would. Last thing, I guess, we could wrap it up now. But I think there's one more thing I want to share with you guys.
Yeah,
one more thing here. We'll just take a couple of minutes. Heading into Father's Day, I got to do my favorite thing in the world, which was smoking brisket. I used to do it right over charcoal and fire. Now I've got a pellet grill. It's a lot easier. Not as fancy, but it still tastes delicious. But for those of you that are out there that barbecue a lot or smoke a lot, you know that you can only smoke so many briskets, so many pork shoulders, so many ribs. They start all tasting the same to you. So at the end of the day, what really determines how good that meal was some of the sides, and where you test your barbecue game by how you pull off some of the sides, whether you're doing cream corns or smashed potatoes or whatever. A couple of years ago, I came across a recipe that reminded me. Actually, originally it was something that my mom used to do. Trey, we used to call it sweet and sour wieners and beans. And all that was a can of beans, some vinegar to give it that little tang, and you slice some wieners in it, and that was like delicacy when we were kids growing up. Yeah. But then I came across some guys in the smoking community that says there's a lot of things you can do to really spice that up. So what I did with this weekend was become probably one of the favorites. One of the things I guess asked for the most when I am doing barbecue. And just take a look at this right now. It's really simple to do. You get those big cans of beans from the store. Just get your favorite ones, the maple, pork glaze, whatever ones you like. But so you do that instead of starting from scratch and cooking your own beans. So it makes it a lot easier. But then that's where the magic starts. You add a little bit of your own spice to it. So what I do is I'll take a cup of brown sugar, maybe more or less. I kind of just eyeball it, add some molasses to kind of thicken it up and give it that deeper, darker taste. But like my mom, adding vinegar to it, I take about a quarter cup of apple cider vinegar, and it gives you almost that sweet and sour tang to it. Yeah. Instead of like this flat barbecue bean taste, it gives us this sharpness. Throw in a diced onion, and then you start throwing in the good stuff. The wieners. Mom used to just throw them out of the package. Take those wieners, Trey, throw them on your grill, throw them on charcoal, throw them on your grill, get them crisp and black, like when you're barbecuing wieners, and you slice those up, throw them in the pot. Delicious. I did this with the brisket, right? So at that point, the brisket was almost done. I'm just cutting off the ends of the brisket while it's kind of resting. I took the dry part of the flat. The flat's what you make the sandwich meat from in a brisket, and usually the end of it it should be good, but it's the driest part of the brisket you're going to have, so you don't mind wasting that in throwing it into the chili or the beans. Take that, chop it up, throw that in. I was lucky enough that we had some breakfast bacon left over. I took that, crumbled it up, threw it in. But the important thing is once you get it in, and then you throw in a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, throw in a little bit of sriracha just for flavor, throw it all into one big pot, put it over the fire or put it on over the burner, and let it go for about an hour. All those different flavors, from the wieners to the brisket to the onion to the molasses to the brown sugar, everything that you've just thrown in there is just going to start mixing. And by the time that hour passes, it is like something you've never had before in your life. And I lie to you not, more often than not, it is the sides that people rave about more than their brisket sandwich or their pork sandwich. Guys, feel free to take down this recipe. Maybe at some point we'll even put a link in the bio. This is worth the try. Cook it for an hour, stir it regularly so it doesn't get burned to the bottom of the pot or the pan, whatever you're using. But do this at your next barbecue, guys. This will be the biggest hit that you've ever made. Trust me.
I need you to make me some of these, Sheldon. I need a day where I come over and you make me the barbecue beans and the burnt ends from Jamin.
You'll
any other good food.
Jamin is good with this stuff too. Jamin is really good on the smoker.
Yeah, and I need to taste some of this because it sounds delicious. And I've been with you guys for like almost a year now, and I've had zero food made from you guys. So this needs to change. This needs to happen because that sounds delicious. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds really, really good.
Right on. Well, maybe we'll have to bring a recipe to each episode, because honestly, this is making me hungry right now too. I can't wait till the next time I cook this. And yeah, Trey, you will come over. The whole thing takes a couple of hours. I'll bring you at the end of the brisket, so you can help me with that. We'll mix it with the brisket, and then you're going to have the best meal you've ever had.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But guys, I think that's all we've got for this week. It is the ride with Chevy Nasty. Trey, I'll tell you what, folks, let us know what you think. I think, Trey, you did a hell of a job. I know we've had you on before, but you've never like done the ride for the hour and 15 minutes or whatever we went for here tonight. So good job, buddy. You were a really good co-host.
Yeah, I learned from the best, I'd say. And it was fun to jump on and take Chevy's seat for an hour. We're still a little off time. I thought maybe I could prove a point and say it was Chevy's fault, saying that's why we always go late. But
technically, it was because we played his dud. If you and I just did it,
sure, we can still blame it on him.
Yeah, 100%. But guys, that's all the time we have for this week. We really appreciate you guys joining us. You guys are the reason we do it, because we love the comments. You guys got any recipe ideas or anything you guys want to add to the next episode coming up? Feel free to hit us up, DM us on any of our socials. And we'll get back to you. But I am really curious what you guys are cooking this summer, because I think we are now, since the Stanley Cup finals are over, we are going to start talking a lot more food. And it's one of my favorite things in the whole world. But once again, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys here all next week right here on The Ride.